Hi, everybody, and welcome to our team call. Today is August 24th, 2016. This is my dear friend, Elani, and she's going to be giving us some wisdom and magic. She is a life coach and speaker and mentor, and also a dancer and entrepreneur and creative and everything. So she's just like us, just crazy like us. And I haven't worked with her personally, but the times that we've talked, I'm like, aha, I have all these aha moments. And I think that it's so important for us as coaches to get in front of people that aren't necessarily Beachbody people, because we kind of get stuck in our own rut. And what we're going to talk about tonight is some mental shifts and she's got an outline, but we're kind of going to let it be free. And she's going to kind of use some of us as examples, and we're going to open it up at the end. So make sure you have a pen and paper, because this work is really transformative. And I'm just going to let her kind of tell her story and introduce herself. And let's do this thing.
Hi, guys.
They're like, we're muted.
This is so funny. So I actually primarily do one-on-one life coaching, and I do it over FaceTime and Skype. And I have to admit that I always get distracted by looking at myself. So I don't know if you guys do that too when you're checking yourself out and you're trying to pay attention to who's with you. So if you see me looking at myself, I'm sorry in advance.
They can tell.
Okay.
They won't know.
But yeah, so my name's Elani, and I actually started this whole coaching entrepreneurship path because I was a dancer with an eating disorder. And obviously that is not very self-sustainable when you're treating yourself like that and you're treating your instrument like that. And it was also really difficult for me to audition because I was so rough on myself mentally. And so I found transformation work. And I know Julia, I don't know how much you guys have talked about transformative work, but that's part of what Julia and I really vibed on when we first met, was the books that we were reading, and how when you shift your perspective of the world, the way that you approach the world shifts, and then reality shifts. So when we were talking about how could I really bring value to you guys, that's the first thing I come to is what's going on internally and what can you shift over here with you. It's not about doing more. It's not about doing better. It's not about doing faster necessarily. It can be a simple shift of how you perceive something, and then everything else will fall in line with that shift. So that's what my goal is for our time together this evening. And I like to be really interactive. So I may ask some questions. I'm going to interact with this lady.
Okay, great.
And I may ask some questions too to you guys. So feel free to unmute yourselves and ask questions or give feedback or just share from your own experience based on what I give you. I'm going to frame a few things for us, basically give us some things to ponder and think about, and then I'll give you a couple cues to do some self-reflection and do some writing where you are so that you can really get the most from this. And then at the end, we'll have some time for some questions, and if you guys have any more questions about what I do, it's not just in the career realm. Obviously, we're focusing on that because that's what you guys are a team around, is your career and your income. But I also know when you shift how you see things, it doesn't just shift who you are in your career. It shifts who you are in your relationship with yourself. It shifts who you are in your relationship with others. Yeah, I think that's it. Anything else?
No.
Great. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, I wanted to talk, so we're talking about communication. And communication is super important because essentially everything gets created in communication. And I was thinking about it today, and I was like, communication, what do I want to talk about? My boyfriend and I were working on communication all day today. We're in the middle of a moving in together for the first time. So it was
Major communication.
Major communication breakdown is what it is, was most of the day. I walked into Julia's and I was like, oh my God, Julia. But here we are. So I was really looking at the importance of communication. And one of the things that came to me is I was like, everything gets created or broken in communication. So we create agreements in communication. You get married in communication. when you say I do, so just a simple sentence is, and an agreement gets created. You guys create businesses in communication. You dissolve businesses in communication. So how we say things and what we say to people really matters, and it really makes a difference. And what we're going to work on today is actually rewinding just like 2 levels back and looking at why we say what we say and learning how to say things more effectively so that we can get the results that we're looking to get, or we can actually communicate what we need to communicate. And my dad's texting me. Dad. Thanks, Dad. Oh, he just told me he was on the news tonight. He's so freaking cute.
Go, Dad.
Go, Dad. All right. So my first question for you guys, just so I can hear what's in the space, is where do you get tripped up in communication? Or what about communication do you need help with?
Like maybe some guide, like invites, like are you thinking like how you ask, how you're communicating your business, when you're asking about coaching, when you're asking about a challenge pack, when you're like, because so much of what we do is like centered around the invite, like is we have to, people know that we do what we do, but we have to actually invite them and ask them. And I wonder if that, like if there's any more specifics, but that's probably, and communicating to your team, Alexa said.
Oh yeah, you can take yourself off mute for this part too. So coming off as real and authentic. So many people think you are only talking to them for a sale. Totally. And sometimes aren't we afraid of that before we even go into the communication? Is it's like, oh, they're just going to think I'm trying to sell them something. So then we get really awkward and weird.
Me.
I do. Okay, what else? Where else do you get tripped up in communication? And it doesn't have to just be with your business. It can be with your significant other or... So when do you find... Yeah.
I'll add something.
Yeah.
So for me, my biggest thing with communication is trying to properly communicate when I want to actually coach somebody, particularly I would say a coach, to help them reach their goals, and saying it in a way that is tailored to make them tick, because the way that I say something is not necessarily going to make them feel inspired or feel motivated. So sometimes I trip up because I say things in the way that I think they should be said, but it's not always how they want to hear it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
I don't know. That's kind of a...
Yeah, and that's a difficult thing because we know how we see something, and to then communicate it in a way that effectively connects to how someone else sees something is very difficult. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest things where my boyfriend and I get tripped up is he's like, well, I was seeing it this way and it was like this for me. And I was like, well, I felt this way and it was like this for me. And we're having like 2 completely different experiences, which creates this different dynamic. Yep. Totally. We're not going to address that specifically tonight, but I did talk to Julia about creating a call series centered around communication for you guys, and I am planning to address that specifically. Like, how do you listen for what somebody needs, and then how do you create an opportunity for them that fills that gap or fills that need? It's a skill set. It's something that you actually have to develop. Cool. What else?
Bobby said, I am often too factual. I just type or shout out facts instead of putting it into a conversation.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really hard to connect with somebody because it's, Julia's going to be burping on me.
I'm going to burp a
lot. Because it's like we know what we want to say to somebody. We know what information we want to give them. So we're just like, these are the facts. But if we don't connect it to them and what they're looking for, they're not going to listen. They're not going to hear you. Okay, cool. Maybe one more person. Does one more person want to share? Anyway.
I think for me, it's not coming off as like judgy. Like I try and express that I know I'm not perfect, and like these are my long list of imperfections. But I think in conversations, I sense that people are making excuses for how they eat or what they did, or, you know, and I realized that it's coming from me not showing enough of my weaknesses and maybe showing too many things too perfect or something.
That's a good point, especially in health and fitness, because we're saying, do you want to do this challenge pack? We're not saying, I think you're fat. It's just like, I love, how do you communicate? I love being healthy. I want that for you. Yeah. Without, that's really a good observation.
Yeah. Was your name Danielle? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Danielle, that was a perfect lead-in. So to where we're going to go next. So it's really difficult because, Danielle, you've probably had a type of conversation. You've had a conversation with somebody before where they took what you were saying as judgmental, or they might have gotten defensive, right? Like, well, I don't need that, or I'm fine with the way that I live, or that might be great for you, but I don't want that, right? So you've had a conversation where somebody got defensive, and that creates, right, a certain sort of caution in future conversations. Like, how do I avoid that sort of reaction in the future? And that can happen too, right? Like when we have a breakdown in communication where it's like, okay, I know I'm trying to say this thing, but somebody's going to hear me wrong. So how do I avoid that in the future? So we have all these kind of thoughts before we go into a conversation, especially with you guys when you're going to have an important conversation, which is a huge part of your business.
Oh, wow. Oh, Bobby, you're screen sharing, girl. What are you doing?
Bobby, you're showing us all the things.
Bobby. I don't know why it's still, we don't want to be doing that. Hey, Bobby.
Technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Hey, Bob. Okay, cool. We're good. We're back.
Did everybody see that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great.
It's all good. We love you, Bobby. Girl, you crazy.
Wonderful. Okay, so what we're going to look at is kind of like what's going on in your space mentally before you even go into these conversations and setting you up. I'm going to give you a tool to use. I call it a communication distinction, a tool to use so that when you go into these conversations, you feel empowered and excited to have them rather than like, okay, I'm going to avoid this. I can't do this wrong. Make sure I'm not going to do this, all that fun stuff. Okay, cool. So what we're going to talk about is speaking into a no. Like speaking into a no. So how often do you find that you're like, you know, I think this opportunity could be great for so-and-so, or so-and-so would be so good at this, but I don't think that they'll like this kind of thing. Right? Does that come up for you? Where it's like we've already decided before we go into the conversation that the answer is no. So again, I was thinking about this for myself today. And I was like, when did I really run into this? So part of my whole journey into communication and health and well-being and all of that came because I worked for Lululemon in New York City. And I moved into basically a community development role. So I would put on events for Lululemon to reach the kind of audiences that we wanted to reach. So we came up with this, we were opening the Madison Avenue store. So if anybody doesn't know, Madison Avenue in New York City is like, oh, I'm going to go shop on Madison Avenue. It's like the Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, it's like the place.
Yeah, so we were opening up our first Lululemon on Madison Avenue. So it was a monumental moment for the company. And my job was to plan the opening event. They gave me this pretty much unlimited budget to do so. And so we came up with the idea to throw a spin class in the middle of Madison Avenue, like shut down Madison Avenue and have a spin class on the street in front of the store we were opening. And I immediately was like, no way. Like, there is no way that we are going to get them to shut down Madison Avenue. So I started talking to my manager about it, and we actually used this distinction. She's like, Elani, we're never going to get it done if you say it's not going to happen. And I was like, all right. So we created something else. We were like, okay, let's see, like, how can we make it happen? Okay, so we're going to come back to that story. But for right now, Julia, our top performer. Okay, so Julia, you are going to mock a no conversation with me, okay?
Hi, baby. It's so big. It's just there. It's just all the things.
Okay, so Julia's gonna mock. She's gonna be like, I think Elani would be really good at this. Probably because I would be, right?
Yeah, you would be great.
I would be so
You'd
great.
be amazing.
Okay, so she's like, Elani would be a really great Beachbody coach, but she definitely doesn't have time to do this. Like, she can't add another thing to her plate. She's a no for this.
Like, how would I ask you if I was already thinking
so
that
you
way?
already know I'm going to be a no. So call me up or whatever.
Okay, so I'd like
Do you call
Facebook.
me?
I would like Facebook message you.
Okay.
'Cause that's
Okay,
what we
cool.
do. So I'd be like, hey girl, I love following your page. Like, you're so fun. Love seeing what you're up to. Like, how's the dance scene going? Like, what's new? Hey, this is totally random, but I wanted to invite you to check out this coaching thing I do. Don't know if you've ever seen it. You probably don't have time, but I'm not sure. And like, it could or could not be something for you, but like, I just wanted to put it out there.
Okay, great. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely don't have time.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I wanted to put it out there. Like, I wanted to just plant the seed, but like, it's fine. Like, it's cool. If you ever think of it, I'll always be here.
Okay, great. But let's pretend like she actually got me on the phone because this will make it a little bit more effective.
Okay.
Communication. Okay, so call me.
Okay, just like from the beginning.
Yeah.
Or okay. Hey girl, how you doing?
Oh my God, Julia. Hey.
How's your life? Like, what's happening?
Things are kind of hectic actually.
Yeah.
I'm moving in with a boyfriend. I just moved back here from New York. I'm trying to, get my business off the ground in Denver. It's just like been a lot. Yeah.
Like a lot of
How
ducks.
are you?
Just pregnant and just living the dream, but
you got a basketball.
just doing my business, hanging out.
Oh yeah. How's your business?
It's really great. I'm really grateful that I can, have this freedom to be home with my baby when she comes. And, speaking of that, this is why I called you. It's kind of out of the blue, but I wanted to chat with you about if you've ever kind of looked at what I do and would consider maybe even looking at some information. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're busy.
Yeah, I am. I'm really busy. I have seen like some of the stuff on Facebook and stuff. It looks interesting, but my plate is so full right now, but maybe we could grab coffee and just like hang.
I totally hear that. Like, let's just hang out as friends. And then that's when I would shut down and I would stop.
Okay,
Probably.
perfect. Yeah, that was actually a very real conversation.
Like,
How many of you guys have had a conversation like that? Me too. Totally.
Bye. Yeah, okay, see ya.
Totally. Okay, good. So, Julia, when you knew I was a no, so Julia had a thought, like, okay, Elani would be great at this, but she probably doesn't have time. So you knew I was a no. P.S. You guys, she didn't actually know that I was a no because she had never had the conversation. But she knew it, as in she decided it prior to the conversation. Okay? So that's a really important distinction. And you'll start to notice this now in your own speech, not just even around Beachbody coaching, but how often do you decide it's a no before you've even had a conversation?
Well, and I think because I went in with a no, I started listening for reasons why it would be a no.
Oh, totally.
And it gave me I was like, oh, it let me off the hook because I was already thinking no. Like,
totally.
It's like listening for trigger words, like, oh, she's busy. Okay, that's why.
Exactly. Oh, Julia, you're such a good student. Okay, good. So Julia had a thought that I was a no. She had a thought that I was a no. So how did you feel then going into the conversation?
I felt awkward. I felt pushy.
Yes.
I felt like I wasn't actually listening to you.
Yes.
And I just wanted to like get it over with or get a quick answer or just wrap it up, like say, cross it off my list. Like, okay, I reached out to Elani. That's all I can do.
Perfect. And then because you felt awkward and weird and pushy and just like you needed to push through it, what actions did you take? So what did you actually do in reality?
Like I shut down.
Yeah. So I said, yeah, I am too busy. And she was like, okay, yeah, never mind. Let's just hang out as friends. The other thing is that she Facebooked me first, which is interesting. And that actually might be a really great tool if it works for you. If it works for you, keep it. But the interesting thing is that Facebook and texting is a really kind of shielded way to start communication.
Passive, kind of.
Yeah, it makes it safe. Right? So you might call somebody, like she could have called me at a time that she knew she wouldn't reach me. right? So she might have, oh, I don't actually want to have this conversation, but I feel like I should, to like cross it off my list for the day and call my 10 people. So I'm going to call her at a time I know she's not going to answer, and I'm going to leave her a message and give her the option of calling me back.
Totally.
Right? So that would be another action in reality that she took because she felt awkward, because she felt pushy, because she felt unsure. Okay, cool. So 4 new messages.
Check the
yeah,
chat
let's
box.
check the feed. Seriously. Yeah, awesome, you guys. Okay, good. So somebody give me some feedback. I want to know how this is landing out there. So somebody take yourself off mute and just tell me what you're hearing for yourself in this.
Come on, you guys aren't
Do you
shy.
want to just call on someone? Just pick someone.
Tom!
Hey, Tom.
Isn't he so cute? Look at
Tom,
his
you're
beard.
so great. You're like the dude amongst all these
I
ladies
know.
over
I
here.
know, I'm used to it.
He's a baller.
All right, Tom, what are you hearing for yourself, or what are you seeing?
Just that you can't approach this. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. Like if you're coming into this expecting it to, the outcome to be away, that's what the outcome is going to be. You know.
Tom, that was brill.
Totes.
That was so good. Yeah, and that's really what, so we're going to keep kind of fleshing this out, but that is, you hit the nail on the head, and it's almost like my job here is done. Let's call it a night. But we're not there yet because we're going to get some self-reflection time. But you hit the nail on the head because when you have a thought, your thought creates a feeling. So she had a thought that I was a no, which created this awkward sort of pushy, I got to get this over with as quickly as possible feeling, which dictated the actions that she then took, reaching out to me in a passive way, getting shut down as soon as she heard the trigger word she was looking for, and then diverting to a totally different topic. She didn't even give me the opportunity to hear if this is something that I would be interested in, because I didn't even know what she was talking about. And then she creates, essentially, she cut this lead off, but I really want to call it an opportunity for me. Like she cut the opportunity off for me, and now she's created the reality that she doesn't have a new person on her team and I don't have this new work opportunity. And all of that got created because of a thought that she had. But the good news about that is that we can flip our thoughts really freaking quickly. And you guys probably have to do that over and over again as coaches, I'm assuming.
But so much of it is awareness. Because like when we talked about this, like she's like, are you doing that? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was. And even that one thing of knowing I'm total, like that's such a pivotal piece, is knowing that you're speaking into a no. And when it just, so that's why we call it a distinction. It creates an expanded awareness. So when you have the distinction, oh my God, I'm about to start this conversation speaking into a no. I've had a thought and decided that this person is a no, and I'm about to have a conversation speaking into the no, and then I will have this self-fulfilling prophecy and create the no. So good. One more person. Pick someone. Share what you're hearing.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's okay.
go for it. What is it?
Me?
Yes!
Jamila.
iPhone.
Hi. I think also the way you go into the conversation, maybe by saying, you might be too busy for this, but, you know, you're already saying that she's saying no without even asking. So it depends on the way you go and ask her.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Okay, cool. So what I want you guys to do is just take a couple minutes for yourself right now and reflect, when have you spoken into a no? And then what are the actions that you took? And think about the actual actions in reality. So the actual actions in reality would be calling at a time I knew they wouldn't pick up. Starting the conversation with, I know you're probably too busy, but. So what are the actual things that you guys do in reality speaking into a no? So just take a couple minutes and reflect on that for yourself.
I said, when have I spoken into no? Like all the time is what I wrote down.
Okay, take like 30 more seconds. Okay, somebody share some of the things that you do.
Crystal.
I was actually going to talk anyways, so thanks. I definitely have hid behind Facebook and text messaging because and this is like another point that I wrote down, I used to be really nervous and I would forget that it's not about me, it's about the opportunity. So it's a lot easier to type a Facebook message or a text message than getting on the phone with somebody. And then I would like fumble my words because I was nervous. And I would say pretty much exactly what you said. Like, I'm sure this probably, isn't blah, 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 or I can't think of an exact time, but I know I've done it several times in the past. So,
totally. And that's so good too, because you guys know you can feel the energy of something, right? Like when somebody posts on Facebook and it's completely disingenuous and it's like to look good or to like post something, and I do this too. It's like, I just need to get the word out there. I don't really care. I just need to do it to check it off my list. People can feel that. They can feel it through a text message. They can feel it through a Facebook message. But, and not to, you can actually use text messages and Facebook if you're like lit up and excited about it, because people can feel that too. If you're being genuine about it and it's just an effective way to reach a broader audience or whatever, or you don't have the person's phone number or whatever, people can feel it though. But if you're doing it because it's like you're nervous, people know.
Oh, and Alexa says use the voice message. That's great on text or Facebook, because so much of what we do is based around Facebook, which is probably a problem for us because we're so used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it is braver to pick up the phone. It's scarier, but it's effective because a lot of us, like if we do an application for someone, we get on the phone with them, that's when the magic happens.
Right.
Or if you can't, if it's the initial invite, the voice text is so powerful because you can be like, hey, and they can read that.
Yes.
If you're coming from an authentic place.
Totally. Yeah. So not knocking Facebook or text message, but yeah, just really identifying are you using it as a shield or are you using it as a tool?
We use it all the time, and I think it's a little bit of a
shield.
Cop-out. Mm-hmm.
Cop-out. Okay, cool. All right, great. So we're going to flip the script, but first let's go back to Madison Avenue and Lululemon. Okay, so little Elani, like 25 years old, shows up to the city and county building because they weren't responding to my emails. Weird. In downtown Manhattan, and I like show up to the zoning and permitting area or something with my other girlfriend who's working at the store with me, and we're like, hey, so we want to talk to somebody about shutting down Madison Avenue, and they were like, we don't do that. And I was like, yeah, okay, great, I know, I understand that, but we, like, if we wanted to do it, who would we talk to? And they're like, well, what's it for? A spin class? Yeah, but we don't do that. We actually can't do that. Not RTD, whatever they have in New York. The bus runs down Madison Avenue. We don't do that. Okay, right? And that would be a really easy place to be like, okay, I just got like 3 no's, and these people are looking at me like I'm a complete idiot standing in the Manhattan City and County building in my workout clothes. But we were committed. We were committed to the yes. So we came back next week with free Lululemon pants for the grumpy ladies that worked at the city and county building. And we were like, all right, so we want to talk to you about our company, and we're really committed to health and well-being, and we just think like this event is going to be free. It's going to be open to the public. Like, what an awesome way to give back to New York City. To make a long story short, they freaking loved the pants, and we were probably the most entertaining people that they had in their office, and we got the permit, and we shut down Madison Avenue and had a 100-person spin class. It was pretty freaking amazing. But we were committed to having fun with the experience, and even in the face of getting shut down with a no, we were like, but we're going to get a yes. We're going to get a yes. So we're going to do a little flip the script now, okay? So Julia's gonna chat with me, but she knows I'm a yes. Not that she knows I'm a yes, right? Because she could still get a no. You're not going to get a no right now, though.
That's fun.
But she knows I'm a yes. Like she's like, this is going to be an awesome opportunity for Elani. She's so enthusiastic about things. She loves health and well-being. I'm totally talking to her.
Okay, girl, how are you?
Oh, are we talking person?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
great.
like a person.
Oh my God. Hey, Julia.
So you've been on my heart, and I have something I want to share with you that's so valuable to. I'm gonna cry. I'm pregnant, but I feel it's totally changes it. So I have something so valuable that I think would be a really wonderful fit for you. It matches all of your skills, all of your talents, and could take what you're already doing and give you a platform for another source of income. And I know that that's something we all are looking for.
Yeah.
Is that something you'd be willing to look at and kind of just see what I do and see what it's all about?
Totally.
I love that. Let's take a look. Let's dive in.
I actually do want to take a look at it. I'm like, what is this beach behind me? Oh my goodness. Okay, so knowing I was a yes, how was that for you? What feelings did you have?
It just felt authentic, and it felt like I wasn't on guard, you weren't on guard, and I could talk from a place that was contributing value to you. Like, it didn't feel like it was about me. It was like, this is right for this person, and I want that for her.
Yes, awesome. Okay, good. So given that you felt authentic and open and invested in me, what actions did you take in reality?
I think I was able to ask sincerely, and I wasn't afraid, so I could actually go for the asking.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, she was about to cry, so of course I wanted to say yes already. I was like, I don't even know what you're going to say, but you really care.
Because we always say that. Like, we say when we invite someone, it's not about us, it's about them. And so when you do come into it from that authentic place, that's where it grounds you, and then it makes you like, it didn't matter, like I didn't have to worry about how I said it or what words came out of my mouth, because it was so genuine that it just shifted everything. Good. So take a moment for yourself, and I want you to think about when you've spoken into a yes, when you knew somebody was interested, you knew this was a fit for them. What feelings did you have? So given that you spoke into a yes, you knew they were on board. So what feelings did you have? What did that create for you? And then what actions did you take? So again, what feelings does that allow when you know someone's a yes, when you've decided that they're a yes, when you've decided that they're on board, what feelings does that allow for you? And given that feeling, what actions do you take in reality? You say what you mean to say, you connect it to who they are and what they would want, you call at a time you know you'll reach them, you actually make the phone call. All right, let's have some shares. What are you guys seeing for yourselves? Shauna.
Hey, Shauna.
Hi. Our thing went out when you guys were on your conversation, so I'm just kind of
Oh.
picking up my grasp. But that's okay. I feel like when you assume the sale, you just have a lot more confidence in what you're going to say. So you're just, it's coming more genuine. So I feel like there's just a sense of peace because you're not, like, for me, my anxiety isn't, like, keeping me from asking.
Like the moment you try to mind read anybody, no matter what situation it is in life, you build your own wall.
Yes.
You're faking it by saying, oh, it's them that doesn't want it, but it's really yourself that's building that wall, and you really just cut yourself off from any opportunity to do anything positive. So mind reading in any sales, no matter what, it just has to go, because it'll get us nowhere.
Yes. Alexa says, yes, Corey. We
Yes,
love
Corey. We love Corey. We've got some great spouses and partners on our team.
Oh, I love this.
Fun.
Okay, cool. Someone else.
You create more confidence.
Yes. Yeah, when you really start to tune into the thoughts that you're having before you take an action, you will be so much more effective with your time. Because if you're taking a million actions on top of thoughts that you've decided somebody doesn't want what you have to offer, they don't want to hear what you have to say, and you are calling hundreds of people with that thought and that feeling, you're shut down, you're nervous, you're awkward, you're weird. It doesn't matter that you called 100 people, they're all no's. They're all no's because you're being awkward and weird and you're not saying what you mean. You know, but if you really stop and just like tune in for a minute and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to be confident. What I really hear is freedom. I'm going to have the freedom to say what I mean to say, and I'm going to share it authentically. And if this is a fit for someone, they will know. They will know. And even if it's not a fit for someone, I will walk away knowing that they know what it is, and maybe they'll want to in the future. And maybe they won't, but maybe it's a fit for someone else, and they actually heard why you do what you do and why you're passionate about it, and they understand. So just taking those few moments to tune into the thoughts and then to shift the feelings so that you can show up as who you know you're capable of being, who I know you guys are capable, like you've done it, right? We've proven to ourselves that we can do it, and we've proven to ourselves that we can do it. So we just want to tune in more to the capability, to the confidence, to the freedom, to the openness. Do you want to share something?
No, just that feels good. And it's so much of it is awareness and and we talk about that, like not prejudging people. And I think when we're in that space, it allows us to actually share our gift, because we talk about that all the time. Like sharing and inviting in our business is a gift because of how this business blesses us, how health and fitness blesses people. And it changes everything when you can actually believe that. And I think this is the distinction between saying that, because we say that in our team pages and we say it's a lingo, like we're like, it's a gift, but are we really internalizing that? And this helps us actually be able to put it into action and say, am I in the right place? And then move forward. Right. Alexa says not inviting is selfish. Like Alexis always says, she has pearls of wisdom all the time, but she says, don't keep someone's destiny in your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you do it like that, then it feels good.
And this is going to be a really helpful tool too, because it's when you guys are out there sharing, you are going to get shut down sometimes. And not even shut down, like people are going to say no. But how do you take that no and just like get that it's a no, and it could just be a no for right now, but just get it. And then pause before you pick up the phone again or get into communication again, reset. Okay, what do I need right now to speak into a yes in this next conversation? Okay, so I'm not recreating what I just experienced.
Shauna says, there's something that we could offer every single person. We just have to find it. Be so confident in what we offer that it doesn't matter whether they join or not.
Totally.
Because we have free groups. We have endless things. Like it doesn't have to be the thing we put on a pedestal.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, and ask more questions than you talk. Totally. Okay, so kind of to pull this all together, what I want you guys to do is, if you were really being free, confident, open, genuine with the people that you share and speak with, why would they want to be a part of what you have to offer? So just take a minute and reflect and write about that. We've been getting some of that commentary on the side. So really just like crystallize that for yourself. Like, why do you do what you do? Why would someone say yes? Why would someone be a yes to you? What do you want people to know? What would you share? Okay, take like 30 more seconds and just finish your thought. Okay, let's have two or three people share what you wrote, just so we can all get connected to it. Who wants to be brave? This is a good time to be vulnerable and authentic and genuine.
In a safe place, right?
In a safe space, and get us all inspired by what you guys do.
I can go.
Cool.
Okay, I wrote, because I believe so deeply in our mission and have seen the incredible transformation both internally and externally that this company and opportunity can provide. I trust that I can teach and lead others to live a life they are proud of.
Awesome. And then reading that and reflecting on that, Shauna, what feelings does that provide for you?
Just like a sort of like self-belief, I think. I think I know that, but when you kind of write it down, you just believe it more.
Yeah, and it's really easy to lose track of that, if you're failing, I don't like to use that word, but, if things aren't going the way that you planned it out. Alexis has tears, Shauna. Good. And then Shauna, given that self-belief in the mission and why you're doing the work that you're doing, what are 2 new actions that you could take this week?
I think first of all, one would be sharing that more openly on my social media.
Okay, what would that look like? Does that mean just like maybe even sharing what you just wrote in a post?
Yeah, maybe just talking more about my own internal or external transformation. I think we talk a lot more about our external transformation sometimes, when I think for a lot of us, the internal transformation is really like the big change.
Yeah.
So sharing that on social media, and just maybe being more open about that in my invites too. If I'm inviting somebody to join the coaching opportunity, to talk more about how it's transformed me in my life versus why it can transform theirs.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Someone else.
Tracy.
She's like, damn it, Julia.
That's pretty much exactly.
Tracy's got good stuff to share, though. I know she.
Oh man, I'm never good at writing these things down. No, but I mean, really, like I shared with Julia I don't know, a month ago maybe, that really like my reasons why for doing this right now is because of the transformation internally that I've had, and more just confidence in myself, the personal development part of it, has had a huge impact, and just being a part of this family of coaches has really had a huge impact on my life. So I try to share that, and I am a terrible communicator, so it doesn't really come across very well. I think but yeah, I try to come from a place of like, this is what it's done for me, not necessarily just the workout part of it. And so yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome, Tracy. Do you want some coaching?
I don't know if want as much as need.
Tracy's a sass, so she's like, she seems timid, but she's not.
Okay, awesome. So Tracy, and this is going to be such a contribution to all of us because we all really have an internal dialogue about who we are. So in the same way that we've been reflecting on what are the thoughts that we're having that give the actions that we're taking, it really works when you distinguish the yes and the no, but also what are the thoughts that you're having about yourself? Thoughts like, I'm not very good at communication, I'm trying to do this. Like, none of that is actually real either. It's just a thought you're having that creates a feeling, that creates an action, that continues to reinforce that thought about yourself.
Oof, amen.
Ooh, mama. Ooh, mama. That's right. But me too, girl. Like, me too. And it's just great when you can have somebody catch that for you, because Julia just created you as somebody else than who you created yourself as for me, right? You created me as this person who isn't very good at communication and tries and blah, 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 whatever you were saying, like self-doubt and whatever's behind that. And then Julia's like, nah, that's not who she is. And she created you as someone else. But we all have the capability for all these different spaces. It's just like, which one do you want to hang out in?
Okay. Well, she's not totally wrong either. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, cool.
I'm less sassy than I used to be. Okay.
I love that about you. It's like, you're not like mean sassy. You're funny sassy, like witty sassy.
Could you tell a lot of people that I'm not mean sassy?
Deal.
Thank you.
All right, cool. One more person.
Cool. Yeah, what did you guys write down?
I love Kayla's hair.
Kayla Corbett. Get it, girl. Yeah, your hair is on point.
Thank you. I wrote down, we build teams of supportive women who bring light and confidence to others just by being their true selves. My job isn't just fitness, it's changing lives.
Awesome.
And I just actually posted yesterday Transformation Tuesday about my internal transformation, and you can just see my external transformation, but I've always been like a positive person, but it's just a totally different kind of positive now than what it was before. So awesome. It's just
awesome. And then reflecting on that, thinking about what you do in that way, what feelings does that create for you?
I'm really proud of the people that we have become in our team, and watching everybody else grow at the same time that I'm growing and sharing, what works and what doesn't work and stuff like that. It's just, I've never had a community of people who do stuff like that.
Cool. Okay, good. So she's, Kayla's been able to, you also have amazing eyebrows.
I have a makeup addiction, and I just tried out a bunch of new stuff that I got today.
Yeah.
Eyeshadow here. Let's see if you can see it.
Oh, yes. Oh, purple.
Oh,
yes.
I tried a tutorial today with my electric palette, so I have like a serious addiction to Urban Decay. So thank you for noticing, everyone.
Okay, perfect. Good. So everybody just take a moment and look back over what you wrote, and then given how that makes you feel, create 1 to 2 new actions you can take this week. It might be calling somebody who you've decided in the past was a no, and speaking from a new space, like what could you say? How could you portray this? How could you communicate this effectively? It could be creating a really authentic, vulnerable post. So what are 1 to 2 new actions you could take this week? Being free, confident, proud, open, at peace. All right, cool. Because we're running low on time, Julia, do you want to just share one of yours?
Yeah, I said call people on the phone because I actually really like that. I
Yeah, me
like talking
too.
to people. And then I said I'm going to go through my old lists and restart conversations with people that I might have shut down or crossed off my list or anything like that. And I wrote 3. I wrote create a post kind of talking about this. And I kind of just did one similar, but I think like people want to see a glimpse of the business too.
Yes.
And so if you can open that up and say, so often I try to put off this perfect perception or I go into inviting someone to what I want it, what I think would be good for them, but I do it in a way that's backwards. And if that's ever been you, I either apologize or this is the way I want to do it moving forward. And I think sharing that publicly sounds really freeing. And I always find that people, even if they don't like or comment on my posts, are watching. And I've talked to my whole Facebook friends list. So it's going to hit someone and be like, oh, maybe she is just, look at how she's continuing to grow and be vulnerable. Yes. So kind of putting that out publicly.
Awesome. Okay. And then one more tool that came to me as you guys were sharing what you shared is...
Oh, Alexis has one too.
Oh, yeah. Alexis?
Oh, it's quick. I was just going to say, I'm going to challenge myself the rest of the week to go into all of my conversations and let that person decide what they want to do, not me. Because I feel like a lot of times we decide, like we talked about before going into conversation, what the answer is already going to be. And that's really not our role. Our role is to let them decide if they want to do it or not. And so we just need to be genuine about sharing the opportunity. And then really, I feel like it gives me more freedom to put it in put the ball in their court and say, it's up to you. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? So
yes, exactly.
That one gets a shimmy.
Okay, good. That was so good, Alexis. Good. And I'm really if that's all that you got from this call, I'm sure you got more, but if that is all, that was my intention fulfilled. So and just to piggyback on that, this was one other tool that came up as you guys were sharing, not only to speak into a yes, but actually create the person prior to getting on the phone. And I do this before workshops. I do this before client calls. I will create them, right? In the same way that I was just saying to Tracy, she is not the limiting negative thoughts she has about herself. And she's not what Julia says about her. It's just how she shows up. So you guys can create someone as a yes, and even more extensively than that, get super specific. So-and-so, Julia is going to be a yes to this opportunity, and she is going to be so grateful that I brought this to her on our call today. Create the person. Or so-and-so, this is going to shift the course of their day or the course of their life, and they are going to be so excited that I picked up the phone and called them. Or so-and-so is going to see my name pop up on the caller ID and just be so happy to pick up the phone and say, oh my God, hey, Elani. And it happens. Watch it happen. It's freaking magic. It's so fun. Kelsey says, as a new coach, I try too hard to make them want to be someone they are not necessarily are, rather than them deciding who they want to be. Yes. Yeah, let them decide. Let them decide. Cool. All right, you guys. I think that's it. I do want to just if there are any questions about this or coaching in general, you guys are coaches too. Let me know.
I think,
how should we do this?
Well, pitch your program. So obviously Elani has a business just like us, and she's got a couple things. She's got an email for us. So I'm going to ask you guys right when you get off the call, since she's here at my house, I want to get her your emails. So just comment, if you're on Alexis's team, comment on that post I did in your page. And if you're my team, do it in the event page. Or actually, let's do it in Coach Connection under the one I just posted tonight, so she can get all of your emails. But she's got a couple, what I talked to her about, she does individual coaching, and then I said I think it'd be really cool and a cool price point to do a group coaching, kind of similar to this, because I learned so much from listening to you guys. So walk us through how your individual coaching works and then your group coaching.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do with group coaching, and I designed this specifically for you guys given this conversation. So we're going to do 3 to 4 distinctions. So speaking into a no is a distinction. So learning how to listen effectively is a distinction. Learning how to hear the opportunity for somebody else is a distinction, and then creating the opportunity for them, or basically filling the gap, is a distinction. So that would be more specific to you guys and the business that you're in. So I'm going to do a group coaching program for you guys. So that would be one option. The other option, if you're interested, is I typically work with clients one-on-one for 2 months to do a full life transformation. So we focus on health and well-being. We focus on self-talk. We focus on limiting beliefs, distinguishing them, and then breaking them up. And then we talk about how to expand your vision and identify what it is that you really want beyond your own limiting beliefs, and then how to get there specifically. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you want a full life makeover, and it will impact your business a lot as well, but it will hit every area. So either of those options is available for you guys, and I'm going to do 15% off for any of you guys from
cool.
Julia. Yeah.
Cool. We love a deal. We do.
Don't we all?
We do. Wasn't she great? Let's give her a round of applause.
You guys were great. Thank you so much. Your insight and your sharing, and it's so fun to be with people who are in the same conversation, and you guys are on point. So thank you for having me.
Yay. Well, we love you. Thank you. I will, I'm not going to put the recording up tonight. I will put it up tomorrow, but share it with your teams. And then please remember to go put your email in. Elani has a little, do you have a newsletter or something?
Yes.
Just
little tidbits.
So you're going to want to hear from her because she has great wisdom. So go put your email in there, and I'll get those to her. And then she'll send out an email about her coaching and how you can talk to her about it. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Good night, guys.